If you're anything like me, then your power, magnetism, and confidence has been beaten out of you all your life. You've been punished for it, you've been shamed for it, you've been called arrogant, Jezebel, prideful, full of yourself, conceited because of people's projections, or even just the way that religion frames women's power. Um, if you relate to this, I'm creating this video for you. This video is for the women who have always been bigger than the program, but were never given the permission to stand on that truth. Hi, I'm Naomi Ulatayo, and I guide founders, creators, and visionaries with multi-venture visions to align their brand universe and ecosystem with the vision God has given them, and I help them activate the capacity that they need to govern the realms, cultures, and industries that have been put in their vision as well. If this video activates you, then I need you to click the link in the description down below to gain access to something I call the internal reckoning. It's for the people who have been able to recognize that I am the person that they need, that I'm the missing piece that they need to bring their vision to full materialization with the vision that God has given them. That is the first step to beginning a partnership with me. It is linked down below. Anyways, let's get into today's video. Shame is how the patriarchy has been able to police women forever, literally since the beginning. Like, we've been oppressed so long that we even police each other. That's why envy, jealousy, and competition is so prevalent in womanhood. It's just something that we've all come to accept as normal when it's so insidious and it's just traumatic. Honestly, it really is. The patriarchy is reinforced by us. Like, all the worst parts of womanhood, really, patriarchy of course, but we also like have our hand in reinforcing it, and that's why it's just so strong. That's why it's so effective, and that's why envy and jealousy are able to just circulate without repercussion. In girlhood and womanhood, we've always been taught to not be too loud, to not overshadow the other, to kind of maintain a sense of like equality among us because it might make somebody else feel bad. We're always taught to think of others before ourselves, and to not challenge or become more impressive than men. And this is reinforced by both men and women. Like I said, we police ourselves. So not only do we come into this world instantly policed, our bodies policed, our minds policed, everything policed, we have women who reinforce this as well. Any woman who is considered too much or just doesn't fit in the paradigm that keeps other women comfortable, they get ostracized, shamed, or judged with the intention of pushing them back into a manageable box. We as women are seen as objects by both men and each other. We're seen as products that can be consumed and that can be controlled, that can be owned, and even ourselves. We have gone to a place where we don't even have the capacity to make space for another woman's intensity, for her beauty, for her intelligence, for her smarts, her success. This is why like our default is like doubting ourselves or imposter syndrome. This is why we have trouble with sales and asking for the sale. This is why we never ask for the raise. This is why we default to men. This is why we default to a submissive state when we've been the leaders. We are the originators of life, and yet we submit ourselves so easily for free. Are you kidding me? Like, this is why it's just so easy to do so, because the current paradigm of womanhood is to be managed, is to be suppressed, is to be policed. That is what it is. For a long time, I was so deathly afraid of being arrogant because of all the verses in the Bible that said that God will spit you out if you're prideful and all those things like that. One of the biggest feedbacks I got as a kid was that I was arrogant. And that, again, because I was in like Christian schools, I was always in church. Like, I was like, well, that's like one of the worst sins out there. Like, how am I going to, you know what I mean? It was just like, I was so afraid to just be arrogant. And the thing is, when I would be called arrogant, it was always when I would show up in my fullness. It would always be when I would show up in my brilliance, in my smarts, and what I was good at. And again, I'm not saying that I was perfect. We all had moments. I mean, I was a kid. I'm not gonna bring disclaimers to that. I was a fucking kid. But I was just always so inundated with like feedback. Whenever I felt like I was finally like standing in myself and my power, there was always somebody who kept come to me and said I made them uncomfortable. There was always someone that said like, oh well, you have to consider how other people would feel because not everyone wins as much as you, or some things like that. And it just made me learn that like, I guess there's always punishment. It wasn't just feedback. It was bullying. It was losing support from pivotal people in your life. It was being betrayed by them. It was always having a target on your back. I mean, I knew from a young age who I was. I knew from a young age that I was magnificent. I've never doubted that. I only doubted that after I started to grow up and interact with more people and realize that people didn't want to celebrate my brilliance and magnificence with me. Even me saying this now out loud is such a huge improvement because for so long I just couldn't like it was painful to like deal with the rejection and the betrayal and just the rejections from people when I would stand in my fullness. There's just, oh, like despite me knowing who I was, there was always someone trying to humble me, project lies onto me, and ostracize me. I just couldn't understand why. And I always thought like I just took it as like something was wrong with me because I was like, well, I see a good thing in me, but then everyone treats it as if it's bad. What's wrong with me, you know? Church leaders told me that pride comes before the fall, and people like me get spit out, and so I just thought, it's something that I have to fix. My greatness was something I had to fix. This is where I learned to become agreeable and to hide myself. However, it just doesn't work because you can't hide who you are. I mean, we're not just physical beings, we're also spiritual and energetic beings. People can feel it before you may even recognize it within yourself. It will always be known who you are. You can't hide it. It never works. People will always have a problem with someone with magnitude. People will always try to convince you to lower the bar of yourself so that you won't make someone else's lack or inadequacy be flared up. Because remember, we've been taught to police ourselves so much. The policing isn't for safety. Well, there was a time where we were policed because we had to be safe because men and all those things, right? In the past. But today, it's ego. The safety that we're looking for is acceptance. A lot of times, women fear another woman's greatness because it makes them feel overshadowed. And what happens when you're a woman who's overshadowed or gets overlooked or you don't get the attention from men? It's not always as safest. Have you been, we've all seen men before. We've experienced it. We know what it feels like to be treated by a man who doesn't find you attractive. We know what it feels like to be a Black woman and to be ostracized and to have other people's verbal abuse enabled by the men around you because that's just how it's accepted. We know that it's not easy to be a woman. We know that there's so much repercussion for everything. Everything is scrutinized. Everything is policed. It's not easy. So when I'm saying this, like, take it with nuance. I understand, right? And again, this is where the lie of equality comes from, because if we're all equal, if no one is above the other, right, then I can have a chance to not experience the repercussions of not being that woman, right? However, it's all backwards. And the thing is, when you are that woman and you are interacting with other women the thing is, if you're a woman, it's very difficult to not be great. The very fact that you can carry life into this world and you have a womb says everything. So it's like, when you are that woman, right, and other women are just unactualized, they don't recognize the brilliance and the power within themselves innately, they need you to lower themselves beneath them or to meet them at where they are so that they won't have the responsibility of stepping into their full power. That's really what it's about. It's about ego, and it's laziness. It's laziness. I can't lie, it's laziness. If somebody needs you to be beneath them or equal to them so that they can feel okay, they are externalizing their own inner work onto you. And if you're someone who has done the inner work, that's laziness. It's very hard to admit when someone is actually powerful or someone holds a function that is weightier than the other, because I don't believe in frivolous egoic hierarchies. What I believe in is giving people credit for where credit's due. We all are gifted in different ways. There are some women who are more beautiful than you. There are some women who are more intelligent than you. There are some women who are more athletic than you. We all are brilliant in our own rights. And if we can never allow ourselves to curate a space within ourselves, or the safety within ourselves, to say, this is who I am and I'm damn good at it, you will forever be policing yourself and allowing others to police you. And you will never actualize, because you will make your ceiling the nervous system of somebody else. You need to know your rank and your function. We're not all equal in rank and function. We're not all equal in capacity. The problem comes when you try to take where you are here and bring it down here, because other people may not have that function or rank, and there's nothing wrong with that discrepancy. This is why I called this video the art of healthy feminine, the lost art of feminine arrogance. Because if you're anything like the woman I've described in this video so far, then you are so familiar with being considered arrogant, prideful, disable, whatever. Your power, your expanse has been punished for so long because people lack the containment for you. And I want to tell you that every single thing that they've considered arrogant when you were really just standing in your power, I need you to own that. That arrogance will keep you. That arrogance is not in the negative connotation. It is power. Arrogance is power. Arrogance is knowing exactly who you are and not buffering it to make someone else comfortable. You need to know who you are and stand on it, and know where you stand in the collective in terms of function. Because when you downplay yourself, you keep yourself out of alignment. If you've watched my videos for any amount of time, then you know that everything is about alignment. You can't build an alignment, you can't actualize and materialize the vision that God has given you when you keep your identity at bay and you police your identity so it won't upset other people. Your identity and your self-recognition is a prerequisite to your full materialized vision. You cannot even begin with me in my work until you recognize with yourself. That is a prerequisite for alignment. That's a prerequisite for creation. You can only create from what you are. And this vision that you've been given requires the full expanse of your identity to be recognized and created from in that way. Governance requires clarity of self. You have to name who you are and stand on who you are. It is not arrogant to admit that you're incredibly beautiful, highly intelligent, or connected to God in a way that others aren't. Patriarchy thrives, and capitalism and religion thrives on the mischaracterization of women. It demands you to think of yourself in a way that is beneath men, that is beneath the highest leader. And that does not work, not here. There is nothing humble about feminine energy. It is directly mirrored after the Spirit of God, which has been likened unto fire, war, gentleness, the breath of life that fills us all, the giver, sustainer of life. That is who you're modeled after. That is who you are. There's nothing humble about who you are, nothing. And I don't even care if at this point of watching my video, you can't even accept that you are as powerful as I may be able to recognize in you. But I want to tell you that there's nothing humble about feminine energy. You are the sustainer of life. You are literally modeled directly. You house the creative force that brings life to this world. Do you understand that? So be arrogant. Show it off. Be loud. Be prideful. Take pride. Be prideful in who you are. It's your right to express the fullness of who you are. The sky doesn't apologize for being beautiful when the sun sets. The sequoia trees don't feel embarrassed for being the tallest in the world. We just accept that's who they are. Right? Because I mean, what would it look like to be jealous of a tree? That's fucking weird. But for some reason it's acceptable to be jealous of someone in her full function and form. No, you have to own it. And I'm telling you, all the problems in your life will dissipate when you make your fullest self the standard, and no one can touch it. Do you not think that you deserve to be exactly who you are, even if people consider that arrogant? If it's arrogance, then I'm the most arrogant person on this earth. So be it. Stand on it. your vision and your function in the collective and your purpose depends on it. But anyways, if this video activates you, and if this video has given you the recognition that I am the person that is meant to partner with you to bring about full materialization of your multi-venture vision, the link to access to begin our partnership is down below. It's titled I forgot what it's called. It's called The Internal Reckoning. It's linked down below. But anyways, I thank you for stopping by in this video. Make sure you click the bell and subscribe so that you can be notified whenever I post my next videos. But anyways, thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.